Hashtag kind cake.
Is it on?
I think so. Yep. It's on. Okay, so yesterday you were thinking about the trail of research, right? Trail of research. That's what you got on the board over there. This includes your introduction to the topic, or so your entry into the topic. So for us, we talked about, our example was teen activism. And from there, we found Malala. And from there, we talked about, we read about girls' education. From there, we may have read about others fighting for girls' education. So this is our trail of research, right? So for you guys, thinking about your books, your table of contents, okay, one of the options, or one of the structures that you might use is just to follow your trail of research. Okay, so the person reading your book goes down the same path that you did. That's one of your options, right? So we need to think of this because by tomorrow we're going to start writing. And we want to have this structure in our minds. Okay, as we continue to read and as we write, and I'd like you to think of it as a bucket full of water. Right, so all the information you read and collect about your topic, your issue, think of it as like filling up a bucket. Right, it's all in your notebook. Right, it's a bucket. Right, and you want to teach all of this to your audience. So what happens if I take this bucket of water, okay, and I come over to Tiffany, she's my audience, and I take the bucket of water and I just throw it right in her face, splashes on her, goes on the ground. What's going to happen to all that water? All that information, what's going to happen? It's going to evaporate, right? It's going to evaporate, disappear. That's not the way we want to convey our information to our audience, right? In one big shot. We don't want to do that. So we need a structure that allows us to convey our message the way we want. And what I'm talking about is a table of contents. So let's look at an example. Let's think. Lives of Extraordinary Women. Very good book here. I like the quote on the first page. Well-behaved women rarely make history. I read this and you know what I thought? My daughter's going to make history. Right? She is extremely not well-behaved. Little monster. So, let's take a look at this, right? Lives of Extraordinary Women. You see these different women on the cover. So of those structures up there, see it says common structures for information nonfiction texts. Problem solution, chronology, list, classification, definition, trail of research. Which one do you think might fit? Lives of Extraordinary Women. You look up there. So problem solution. Do you think this will work? Problem solution? A chapter on the problem, a chapter on the solution. Probably not, right? We haven't opened the book yet. We don't really know. But probably not. What about chronology?
Maybe.
Right, so maybe it's the lives of these women, and they're organized over time. Like from the first one is the oldest. Right, it goes back the most. What about a list? It's one person after another. And they go, and the chapters are the same, like they talk about the same kinds of things. I think there's a good chance of that. Let's see. Okay, so here we go. Introduction is 2 pages. Then Cleopatra, Eleanor, Joan of Arc, Isabella I, Elizabeth I, Xinha, Catherine the Great, Mary Antoinette, Victoria, Harriet Tubman, Zhu Si, Gertrude Bell, Jeanette Rankin, Eleanor Roosevelt, Golda Meir, Indira Gandhi, Eva Peron, Wilma Mankiller, Aung San Suu Kyi, I don't know what that is. Rigoberta Menchú. So we have a list here, right? Okay, we've got a list. It looks like it's also chronological, right? It's also chronological. So this author made this choice and then put the information in. Okay? This one here, Philo Farnsworth and the Television. So this is a graphic novel. It's the history of the invention of the television. So what structure might work for this? What can we take a guess about? Chronological? Why do you say that?
Because it's like talking about how
Because it's talking about the invention of the television. So let me read these chapter titles to you. The Boy Inventor, Building a Dream, Television Takes Off, Television Nation. So this is chronological, right? So what I want you to know is that we have to envision this structure in our heads as we read and while we write. So right now, I want you to tell someone in your group, choose one of those structures and talk about why it's the right one for your topic. Okay, let's spend a minute talking about this. So I think classification is going to work for mine because there are many different kinds of it. Or I'm going to use definitions or chronological because of this reason. So have a look up there and then talk to your partner for a minute. Or your group. Then you're going to talk to me. So you're doing microplastics, right? What do you think of that? What kind of structure? Well, are there many different kinds of microplastics? Effects. So I want to write a book about the bullying problem. So maybe you have
lots of information, like
describe the problem.
celebrities,
Describe the solutions. Problem. All right, let's come back together. Anybody want to share? Somebody feel like they have a good idea of what their table of contents might look like? Anybody? Stella? What did you say to your group? So then I'll share with you one from this morning. I was talking with a student who was researching child labor, and we were talking about the article he was reading, and it said like poverty and unemployment, right? And I asked him, I said, what are these? And he said, these are causes of child labor. And I said, do the other articles also mention these kinds of things? And he said, yeah, all of them. You know, are they the same as the ones in here? No. And I said, oh, so there are many causes of child labor? And he said, yes. So, well, that sounds like it should become a chapter in one of your books. Or, I'm sorry, one of the chapters in your book. because it's a topic that, it's a subtopic that stretches over all examples, right? And there are many different reasons, right? So we looked at his and we thought that problem solution might be one of the structures he uses, because there are a lot of problems that contribute to children working when they should be in school, right? So that's the kind of thinking that should happen. And I know we still have more to read. I think we're still getting into our topics. We're not experts on them yet. But with today's time, I expect you to read. I expect you to take notes. But also, in your head, start putting together this table of contents. Okay, so when I pull you back here for the share at the end, and I ask who wants to share their table of contents, I expect your hands to shoot up into the roof. Right? Can we do that? Can you promise me that? Eben, you promise? Promise. Pinky promise. So, get back to your desks. Stay on task. Read. You've got a half hour, 35 minutes. Make the most of it.